All right, so issue with the car was or is it just won't turn over. I had that parasitic draw in there, kept trying to turn it over and turn it over. Ended up going and getting a new battery, so we are going to try the battery first. I don't know if that's really truly the battery or not. Luckily, I bought my battery at Sam's. I bought it 2.5 years ago. It has a 3-year full replacement, so they replaced it with a brand new one. So we're going to go ahead and hook this up and see if the car will turn over with it. If not, then I got to start looking at the starter. So that'll be the next thing. All right, so we've got the battery hooked up. New battery. We've done this a couple of times. Listen to how it struggles to start still. So I think that starter is on its way out. I think it's drawn too much. Because you could hear it going, rrr, rrr, trying to go. So I think that starter motor is going out. So the next thing will be to replace that. Or get it tested. All right, well, he's under the car. We're taking the starter out. We're going to check that, and then the next thing will be checking the cable itself also, but and if we need to, we'll have to replace that. We'll have to replace it. But we'll see. But yep, he's down there taking the starter out. So this is the first time he's done this. First time he's taken a starter out. So here we are bench testing our starter motor. So we've got it hooked up to the battery. I can smell it burning. So I've tried to test it already. Turn that on a little better light. So I got the positive coming in, negative coming in. I've got my jumper over to start my solenoid. You can see that it starts, the solenoid pops up, motor doesn't run, doesn't turn over. You can see the smoke coming out, maybe. I don't know if you can or not. But, yep. Ixnay on the battery. Or Ixnay on the starter A. And so the starter should be here today. I looked, trying to find a starter for it. It's over $200 for a starter. So what I have done is I contacted Elliot at the 944 barn. He says he's got a good used one, $75. And he also had the part that broke on the lock over on the driver's side. And what ended up happening was that little ball joint snapped. So he charged me $5 for a few of them. So I just said, throw some extra ones in there just in case they break again. I've got one sitting around, and for $5 I'll take a couple extra ones. No big deal. And that's what we got planned for this weekend. All right, so we've got our used starter that showed up. And then also the little pieces. So this is the little ball that broke off on mine. So I got a couple of them. Looks like Elliot's got a new sticker here too. This one's kind of cool. It looks almost like a little Iron Maiden kind of look to it, and a little reflective. It's kind of a cool one, but the 944 barn part reminds me of Iron Maiden writing. So, noticeably smaller. I'm assuming that's because this is a newer starter than what I had in there. That was probably the original starter. So I will go ahead and try to get this in and see what happens. I mean, I'm assuming that it will start up. All right, so we're going to try to bench test the starter we got from Elliot here. Let's see. And it works. So that should be good to go and get in there. So I just have my jumper cables hooked up, grounded to there, grounded to the starter, and then just jumped to the solenoid is what I did. So we should be good to go with this starter. I also wanted to point out, when I tried to test that starter, when I tried to take the cables off, I mean, they were so hot you could barely even touch them. So obviously something was drawing that power or whatever that heated up those cables so bad. That didn't happen this time with this starter. So we'll go ahead and have the boy put it in, and then he will have his removal and install of starter job complete. Okay, so the starter is in, battery's hooked up. Here we go. Keep going. Do it again. Keep going. Keep going. Go. So the car wouldn't start, so I put the battery on the charger, and you can see where the charger is, or the battery charge is. I mean, it's just not where it should be. So we're going to let the battery charge up, and then we'll try again. Okay, so battery is charged. I had jumper wires in the alarm, so I've got the alarm plug back in, so we're going to give it a go. So it was the starter. That's what it was. Starts right up like on a dime now. So that'll work. Since the car is up on jack stands and everything, we're going to go ahead and change the oil. We're going to put some of this in just to see if that helps with anything, you know, with the oil leaks and whatnot. Yeah. But we will have to see. So we've got our new filter and 7 quarts of oil. I'll only need the 5 for now, but I've got a couple extra in case it keeps leaking. I don't go through that much oil. Here's what I've got on my board of what I have gone through. I haven't taken measurement lately, but so it was full at 2141 at 2832. So what is that? 700 miles. It was about 1/3 of a quart low. So I mean, it's not awful. It took about a month to drive 700 miles for him. He drives a car every day. He just doesn't drive very much. But it's time for an oil change anyway, because it hasn't really been done since last January. But in reality, the car's only been driven, I want to say I had 364 miles on the car. So he hasn't driven it quite 3,000 miles on that oil change. So we're close enough to it. So that was 3104. But with it up on the jack stands, I can't really check the oil level because that wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be at the same level as all the other times. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll change the oil in it. And then I got one other thing to check too. So also, since it's up on the jack stands, the other thing I'm going to check is I get a really bad gas smell in the garage when he drives it. But it is worse, and when it's cold out, it's almost non-existent. When it's really hot out, like we had an 85-degree day, and all of a sudden the garage smelled like gas again, it's the vapors that are in the gas tank is what it is. So the vapors are getting out somehow. So I want to check the line. It's something I didn't do when I had everything out. Probably should have just replaced it. But the line that goes from the gas tank up to the charcoal canister to get rid of those fumes, I'm wondering if there's either it's become detached or maybe there's just cracks in that line and that the vapors are just getting out of because it's probably the original line that's been in there for 40 years. So I'm going to try to inspect that as best I can as well, because I don't smell it. It's not coming out of here. You don't smell it inside the cab of the car. It tends to be on that side of the car where it smells worse, kind of in the back. And that line runs that way and then up to the front of the car, up to the charcoal canister that's up underneath the fender, that driver's side fender. So I'll try to inspect that a little bit while I got the car up as well. So I examined that line for the fuel smell. It's really hard to tell. It goes up above the transmission, along the gas tank like this, and then goes back somewhere. So I'm assuming really the only way you're ever going to get that line out is you got to drop the tank in order to do it. But everything was connected where I could see. You know, I don't know what is causing those vapors and that fuel smells so bad when it's hot out. So that'll be something for another day. Yeah.